Hi, this is Krisha Warren, and today I am going to present on coming together, stages of relationship. I will be discussing the stages of relationship coming together. As written in Hybels and Weaver's book, Communicating Effectively, those stages are initiating, experimenting, intensifying, integrating, and bonding. I will define each and then take you through my personal journey of the coming together of my relationship with my husband. In my opinion, relationships are vital to human existence. They're a meaningful part of life. Some people are more comfortable than others starting the relationship, which is the first stage, initiating. So taking that step, the beginning, there's nervousness, there's caution, hesitation. Someone has to initiate the, hi, my name is, and introduce themselves to someone else just to get that relationship started. Stage 2 is experimenting. So you make a conscious effort to seek out common interests and experiences. I think of the workplace. You meet someone in a general working environment, and then you start realizing you have common interests. And so you seek that person out more. You start developing a relationship with them by experimenting and asking more about them and things that they do outside of work. The third stage is intensifying. So you've accepted that you really like that person. You want to spend more time with them. You have shared assumptions and expectations. So again, in the example of a coworker, maybe you start taking lunch together. Maybe on the weekend you go shopping together. You go see a movie together. So you start having that relationship turn more into what I call, and what we all know is a friendship. And then you have integrating. And that's when individual personalities begin to merge. Again, as you are going to that stage with your friend, it's almost like when you see one, you always see the other one, because they're always together. Because again, they've made that merging of a friendship and a relationship. And then finally, bonding, stage 5. There's a commitment, there's an announcement of relationship to others. So I think of my best friend. Whenever she and I meet someone for the first time, or I introduce her to someone that she doesn't know, I introduce her as my best friend. So I'm kind of making that announcement to others that this is who this person is. So there's that bonding. I think it's important to recognize the stage of a relationship to determine if you want to move from stage to stage. Some don't progress beyond experimenting. You realize you don't really like the person. You don't want to spend more time with them. Or maybe you do spend time with them and you realize, it wasn't as what you planned, and so it doesn't move on beyond the intensifying stage. So again, I think it's important that both parties recognize and are aware that they also have to agree on the stage and where it stands for the relationship to be successful. So as I reflect back on my personal journey of coming together of the relationship between my husband and I can think of each stage very clearly, even though it was almost 30 years ago, which I wish I could say we met in kindergarten, but we actually met in high school. So we were introduced by friends, and yes, there was nervousness, butterflies, some excitement. We're 16 years old, we're meeting, so he and I had to initiate the conversation and get that relationship started. So that was the first stage. And then once we kind of got past that, the experimenting stage started where, again, 16-year-olds were on the phone a lot, talking, catching up, learning about each other, passing notes at school, and again, getting to know each other, flirting, whatever you want to call it. For those that are in their 40s like myself, we used to do a lot of music mixtapes, and I can remember those, your favorite songs, and, again, just identifying and recognizing commonalities that you like about, that you both share common interests. And then it moved to the intensifying stage. We'd go out on movies together, dance clubs back then, that was a really popular thing in the late 80s, early 90s. And both of us are real avid sports fans. So whether it was high school sports, college sports, or pro sports, it was, we were always doing something and going to some event together. So it really intensified to that stage. And then the next stage, integrating. So we were always together, like I said. We would go on, as we got older, 18-year-olds, so we were at holiday parties together. He would come to my family events, I'd go to his family events. And we just really started integrating as a couple. And then finally bonding. So we would tell people, we were going together. that we were dating, and 5 years later, in our early 20s, we were engaged and then married. So that is kind of my personal journey of the stages of my relationship coming together. So in closing, there are 5 stages necessary for a relationship to come together. Recognizing the value and definition of each will help you appreciate the journey and make decisions on whether to progress to the next stage or not, and also reflect back on how the relationship maybe didn't work and how you can make an effort in the future for it to work out if that's so what you choose. So I hope my presentation has been helpful in explaining the coming together of a relationship. Thank you.